Welcome to another edition of the channel's Mailbag. So what is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is the part of the channel that you guys actually control. It's based on comments, questions, general feedback that you guys leave either on the YouTube channel, the website, or through one of my social media feeds. Mailbag contains what I think the answer is, what I think my view of the comment is, or sometimes, you know, I just throw it out to the wider audience and say, what do you guys think? That's what Mailbag is. So let's get in to the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. This question comes from Communard84. I don't know if that's Communards. Anyway, this was in response to the Korg M1, Korg T-Series, Korg O1W, My Story video I did in April 2022. And Communard writes, does the O1W have better electric pianos than the T-Series? Now, I've always thought things like piano sounds and electric piano sounds and organ sounds is kind of a thing of personal preference. People turn around and say, this keyboard has better this, that keyboard has better that. And sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not. Now, with the Korg machines, I don't have an O1W example in the collection, so I'm kind of going to make comments based on my feedback from other musicians. Obviously, the O1W was the next iteration of the Korg workstation line, starting with the M1, going to the T-Series, going to the O1W series. So it's a slightly more modern machine, has a little bit more horsepower available to it, and the O1W started to focus on Korg's implementation of PCM, which was called AI, and it had something called AI2 synthesis as the engine over the pure PCM based engine, which was on the previous two keyboards. So there is going to be a different way in terms of how the synthesis is generated. There are different tones in the tone bank that does include different pianos, both normal piano and electric pianos, which some say sound more authentic. And now I can't attest to that because I've never owned an O1W and I can't remember what they sounded like last time I played an O1W because I don't think I was comparing it to the T or the M. So, are they better? Now, my view is I like the tones of my Korg T1, and the pianos and pianos on this platform are, I consider, perfectly usable and really epitomise the sounds of the era when the keyboard was actually released. So that's kind of the first thing I would say. The issue with both the Korg T1 and the O1W is they didn't sell particularly well. With the Korg M1 effectively still selling well into the production of the O1W. The next workstation was the Trinity. It did sell very well, which incorporated all the best features of the prior 2/3 platforms. And I use the term 2/3 because the T was an expansion of the M, but the O1W was a different synthesis engine. Okay, so you know you've kind of got to look at it from that point of view. And Communard came back and said, thank you very much for your response. Certainly the O1W is more advanced keyboard and offered double polyphony over the T, which it did, because it had more horsepower. But it doesn't equal better. I guess in the end it all comes down to personal preference and what kind of music one intends to play. I listened to a number of samples on YT and the electric piano pad strings and voices sound more appealing to me than those on the O1W, which has significantly improved acoustic piano, but also guitar. The reason I asked is an opportunity to acquire a T3 or the O1W. I know the latter is technically superior, but so far I'm inclined to go for the T3 as opposed to the O1W. Thanks, regards, Norbert. And as I say, at the end of the day, this is all about personal preference. You know, you get on with some keyboards because you prefer it, you get on with other keyboards because you prefer it. The reason why there's so many keyboard manufacturers out there is because we don't all use the same keyboards. We don't all have the same likes, and we don't all have the same ears. Next one comes from Winkle Watt. In response to Yamaha SY77 using the diagnostic mode video I did in February 2024. And Winkle writes, "Thank you for this information. I have almost restored my SY77. I do have one question though, if you might answer it. The keys are sustaining themselves from C1 to C2. All the other keys are fine. I did multiple factory resets. I also did a manual step-by-step, and some things came up as no good. Any advice would be much appreciated, or from the community. Thanks very much, Winkle." Now, you've stated that your issue is a specific part of the key bed. So the first thing I'd say is, are you sure you don't have damage on the key bed between the range you've specified? In general, the key bed manufacturers group together certain groups of keys, but normally this is by octave. And given you stated it's C1 to C2, which is more than an octave, I wonder whether that is actually the issue. But it could be. But if there's no physical damage, then I'd be looking at the groupings of connections between the key bed and the circuit inputs to see if there's something going on there. That's probably where I would start anyway, and then just see where the investigations take it. I mean, these things are always, as I said many times before, people give me a scenario, and while the scenario, I think they think to themselves, they give me enough information. The problem is, these scenarios really are kind of in the realms of diagnostics. You know, you've got to actually perform the diagnostics to understand where the problem is, and once you understand where the problem is, then you can start to understand how you might go about fixing it.